Did you hear the news? Did you hear the news? Yes, my voice is cracked. I got to protect my voice. Please don't get me wrong, but I heard the news. I was so excited. I had to reach out to all of y'all.
Welcome back, you guys, and finally, the Jimmy Butler era is over in Minnesota, and he will be headed to Philadelphia to play with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. This video won't be about the Minnesota drama. I already did one on that, so you can check that out after this. This one will tell you why the Sixers had to make this trade. Let me know in the comments, does this trade put the Sixers above Boston, Toronto, or Milwaukee? So what did the Sixers give up? Well, they gave up two pretty good role players in Dario Saric and Robert Covington, as well as Jared Bayless and a second-round pick for a star that can create his own shot and play defense. Losing Covington hurts a bit more than Saric in my opinion, but when you believe you're in a championship window, you gotta trade some valued assets even if it's a situation you could lose in free agency next summer. I'm sure you guys remember about 4 months ago the Sixers were trying to get either LeBron or Kawhi. They would have traded Covington, Saric, and a first rounder for Kawhi over the summer. JJ Redick is on record saying the Sixers should go after LeBron, and he was even waiting to see what LeBron did, and once he decided on the Lakers, JJ just resigned immediately. So why were the Sixers trying to get a star like Jimmy Butler? Well, there's a couple of reasons. You could start to see expectations change from the fans and the organization during and after that 17-game winning streak, starting from the end of the regular season to the playoff series against Miami. Let's not try to rewrite history. There were a lot of people that thought the Sixers were going to be able to make it to the finals because of how dominant they were during that streak and how vulnerable the Eastern Conference was. The Celtics were without Kyrie, and the Cavs looked pretty bad even with LeBron. That Cavs roster was really flawed. But once it was quickly realized that their two best players can be schemed out of a playoff series, Philly knew they needed to make a move. Yes, they are young players, and as they get more experience, they'll be able to adjust to the adjustments made against them, but it was clear that it was going to take a few years for that to happen. Ben Simmons not being able to shoot in the NBA in the year 2018 is a massive liability, plus Joel Embiid was able to get taken advantage of on defense by getting pushed out to the three-point line. Those two are really good players, but because the Philadelphia 76ers believe they are in a championship window, they were looking to get another star to cover their flaws and speed up the process. Again, yes, Ben and Joel are young and can learn, but at the same time, you gotta realize championship runs do not last that long, and as a front office, you need to always be trying to reload and get better. You never know when it can end. Plus, with LeBron out of the conference, every team in the East should be trying to take advantage of this situation. This current Sixers team was not getting to the conference finals, it just wasn't. The roster was flawed, and I believe shooting is the most important skill in 2018 basketball, and this roster's best players aren't exactly above average shooters. In the playoffs, smart teams will be able to scheme their way to wins by negating Ben's lack of shooting, and I haven't even gotten to their number one pick, Markelle Fultz, who will get schemed out of a playoff series if it gets to the conference finals or even the semifinals. Fultz's lack of development as the third guy next to Ben and Joel was going to hurt the team by the time the playoffs came around. They didn't have time to wait. The Eastern Conference is even stronger this year with smarter teams and stronger defensive personnel, which would have made it even more difficult for Philly. And this is a good segue for the second part of why the Sixers had to make this trade. So the Eastern Conference playoffs is going to be a war this year. Even before this trade happened, the East playoffs was going to be tough. Check out the top 5 of the Eastern Conference. One of those 5 teams are not going to make it to the second round of the playoffs, and whichever one does not will be going into the offseason with disappointment from fans and ownership. People will be calling for different moves, firings, and trades, so this playoffs will be pretty interesting. Everyone always clowns the Eastern Conference, and the bottom of the East is definitely bad, but the top of it is pretty strong. You have Milwaukee, Boston, Indiana, Philadelphia, and the Raptors. Those are all going to be tough teams to get past in the first and second round. This is going to be one of the more fun Eastern playoffs that I can remember. You have a lot of teams with different styles that can make a run to the finals. But like I said about 30 seconds ago, this Philly team had problems, and it wouldn't have been a fun Eastern playoffs for them. The same problems that the Sixers had against Boston in May 2018 would have popped up again in May 2019. Teams like Boston, Milwaukee, and Toronto are matchup nightmares for Philly's old roster with Saric and Covington. Dario Saric's defense can get really ugly, and I do believe they'll miss Covington, but there's a reason Philly called it the process. Whether you agree or not, Philly believes Ben and Joel can be 1 and 2 on a championship team, so they need to do all they can to maximize the window they are in, and bringing in Jimmy was the best move to make as of right now. Of course, there is risk in making the move because Jimmy can do whatever he wants as a free agent in July, but this is why front office jobs are tough. You have to make these decisions. So what happens with the starting lineup? Well, you definitely cannot start Fultz anymore if he can't shoot or won't shoot. This is a businessman. Jimmy's better. I'm sure Fultz will understand. I've seen a lot of people say, oh man, look at Philly's spacing now. It's not as good with another ball-dominant player. Well, you have a point. Covington and Sarge had value as shooters, but people gotta remember there's still 3 to 4 months to make another move. Philly still has tradable assets on the team and could get into the Kyle Korver trade business or whatever pops up on the trade market in the next few months. The Sixers do have shooting with JJ Redick and Landry Shamet, so I would not be too worried about it at the moment, but I will monitor the shooting situation. Now, spot-up shooting isn't his best skill, but it's not like Jimmy can't shoot or anything. He's shooting 37% on 4.5 attempts per game, so you know there will be a lot of opportunities for Ben Simmons to find him for open looks. This fit might not be perfect, but they'll be doing a lot more pick and rolls than they usually do, and they get great defense on the perimeter with Jimmy. So to recap the 2 reasons why the trade had to happen: 1, the Eastern Conference has gotten stronger, which would have put Philly's old roster exposed, and 2, they believe they're a championship team with Ben and Joel leading, so you have to maximize them. Crazy things can end the core of a team, and Philly wants to maximize this era. I understand why it had to happen. Saric and Covington are good pieces, but in today's league, when you almost need 3 stars to say you're a championship contender, you have to do this. Do I believe this puts them over the top in the East? No, but I do think they are better and more equipped to make a run at the conference finals than they were 2 days ago. If I had to pick the team to get out of the East as of today, I will say the Raptors, and of course that could change, but Toronto is my team to get out of the East. Apparently he's going to play Wednesday against Orlando, so that's a good team to beat up on in your first game. So thanks for making it to the end, guys. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys soon.